Hello, hello, everybody. And it is Tuesday, so that's Tuesday tips, tricks, and tools. Whether you're joining live or you're watching the replay, I hope everyone is having a fabulous week so far. The weather here is super crappy. It is dark and cold and rainy, and I don't like it. But it'll get better eventually. Yeah? Okay. So, today we're going to talk about branded collateral, right? So what the heck is that? So branded collateral is any visual or media or any item that you use to promote your brand. Okay, so the basic stuff, right? Like your logo, your fonts, your colors, all that stuff, that's all collateral. So are your website, your business cards, your social media images, all of those things that speak to your brand and promote your brand are branded collateral. And so as you're first starting out, or if you're starting something new, sometimes it's really hard to know what you need and what can potentially wait. So obviously the big pieces, right? Your logo, your fonts, your colors, your values, those things are huge. And so are your social media images, because as we all probably know by now, or at least I hope you do, you can't really be successful and grow and have the business that I'm sure you dream of having without being present on social media. That's just not a thing anymore. That's just not the world that we live in. So having those social media images is super important. And please, 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 for my sake and for the sake of all of your future customers, make sure that you have each of your images to the correct size based on that platform, right? So your Instagram profile photo is not going to be the same size in pixels. And so pixels are the little dots or squares that we think about, right? But if you want to think about it in inches, that's fine too. But they're not going to be the same size. Not going to see them width height ratio as your Facebook profile or your Facebook cover photo. And Facebook even has different dimensions for a business cover and an event page photo. And so they're all going to be different. You can just Google social media image sizes, and you're always going to come up with the first couple results that give you like the latest, so 2020 sizes, and make sure you stick to that, because again, you don't want to just cram something in a smaller space and have it cut off. And you also don't want to take a smaller one in a big space and there's all this unnecessary white space around it. But anyway, so some secondary pieces of collateral to think about are things like your email signatures, your invoices and proposals, making sure that there's at least just a logo, some sort of branding on there, or if you want the same exact layout and format. When it comes to, if you really want to brand them, having, especially if they're online, so having all of the fields a certain color, the text a certain color, your buttons a certain color, all those fun things that you can do with that. I would also encourage you, this is not a priority, but when you have the resources to do this, I would highly encourage you to get branded thank you cards or little notes that you can send to your clients. That's super important, because once you've finished a transaction, the cycle of that customer is not over. At least it shouldn't be. You want to continue to stay on top of mind for them, whether they're a recurring customer and you do recurring business, or you typically do one-off projects. Because even if they never use you again, you want them to always be thinking of you, so that they can recommend you to someone else if they hear of someone else needing your services. So to get a really super crystal clear idea of what collateral you should be going for in the beginning, outside of the logo and fonts and all that we talked about, really think about, and I would encourage you to write this down, have it planned out so you know it and you know which pieces you don't know. But think about the life cycle of your customers, right? So that means from the moment that they find out you even exist to getting to know you, making the sale, after the sale, customer service, if you do an offboarding process, that life cycle of that customer, because each one of those cycles has a touch point for you. And those are the things that you want to consider having branded before you move into something like, I'm trying to think, like, for example, like even the thank you cards that I mentioned, okay, that may not be your priority. If that's part of your offboarding process, and I hope it is, then you want to include that. But there could be a ton of different ways that they discover you. So if a client's going to discover you on social media, that needs to be a top priority for you to get those graphics and to get those correct dimension and size pieces into place. More than likely, there's going to be at least 2 ways that they can find you. So, or 2 ways that you're going to generate leads. So it might be that you have, your branded collateral might be your website and social media. It might be business cards if you're attending a lot of networking events. If you're going to trade shows and maybe that's where your product is, then you might want to think about informational graphics and cards, little one-pagers that people can take with them in addition to business cards. So all of those things. If you don't do a ton of in-person meetings or networking, I wouldn't worry about business cards to start off the bat, because that's just not something that you will probably need right off. I know that's something that I use all the time. I'm constantly handing out and getting business cards. So when I rebranded, even though my website isn't finished yet, current version of the branding of the website, the business cards happened almost immediately. Yes, Tracy, you do need branded business cards. We could talk about that. And I'm sorry, somebody else commented, and I don't know who it is, but yeah, the branded thank you cards, that's super killer, especially if they're just, your brand, because that's really unique. And handwrite them, friends. Handwrite those cards, hand address them, stamp them, stick them in the good old-fashioned snail mail, because the truth is people just don't do that a lot anymore. So that always makes a big impression. So we've discovered how they discover you, right? So we want to make sure we have branded collateral or touch points for that. Then the next thing is kind of list out your ways that they get to know you and they get to know about your products, your services, what you offer, whether that is emails, newsletters. Again, we're talking about a website. If it's YouTube, Instagram stories, whatever gets you the maximum engagement with your audience and your future customers, those are the pieces that you want to look at and think of how you can brand those. And your branding doesn't have to be super complex, friends. It could simply be, like I know for me, I'm working on kind of branding the grid of my Instagram a bit better than I have in the past. And that is something as simple as on days that I do like a quote or a pun or like a super quick and easy tip or trick. It is a solid color background that's in one of my branded colors, my branded font. And I mean, that's all there is to it, but it shows that consistency and that cohesiveness. Then your next step after they get to know you is typically the actual sale of your product or service. So that's something you want to think of. If you sell an actual product, think of your packaging and how that gets to the customer. Unboxing is this idea that is huge if you do a product. Think about the people that get Apple products, right? And almost the first thing they do is they video themselves like unboxing that product. So you want to make sure, again, that doesn't mean expensive or complex. You just want it to be more than just a cardboard box with some generic, old ratty white tissue paper in there. You actually can get branded tissue paper, by the way. There's lots of print companies that do fun things like that. Or even if it's just slipping a card in there, all that kind of stuff. If it is service-based business and you're not actually selling a product like I do, then we are thinking about proposals and invoices and your emails. I would highly recommend, if you're service-based and you're doing a lot of your business through email and online, looking at a CRM. So that's how you manage all your clients. There are lots of options out there that are available, and they're definitely affordable. So usually you can pay monthly between $20 and $40 a month, or you can do yearly. And most of the 2 main ones that I've used are between $300 and $400 a month. I can recommend Honeybook and Dubsado. Those are great CRMs. And the great part about that is you can kind of go in there and you can go in there and customize that. And so everything that you send out is branded automatically. So you don't have to do it each time. Same thing if you're using an email service. And then the final step, it is that after sales customer service. So again, don't just give them the product, say thanks, and never touch base with them or never talk to them again. It might be that you invite them to a Facebook group. It could be sending them, like I said, a thank you card. It could be giving them a discount card if it's something that they might buy with you again. Referral discounts, just whatever that is, but maintain that contact. And again, you want those items to be branded as well. So that's kind of a super quick and dirty rundown of branded collateral. I know I just gave you a ton of information, especially if you're just starting. I probably threw a ton of buzzwords at you that you're like, I don't even know what that means. So don't hesitate to put an email, post in the comments. If you're watching it on replay, still post those questions, because I will definitely get back to you and I will answer those. And there are a ton of members in the group that this is not their first rodeo either. So they can definitely contribute and give their opinions and their feedback as well. As a side note, PS, there is nothing wrong with using Vistaprint for some branded collateral when you're starting or when you are low on resources. Vistaprint actually does some pretty legit quality stuff. And there's always deals, there's always sales, there's always 50% off this, that, whatever. And Tracy said she'd love to hear more things about CRM. So what I'll do is really quickly, I'm going to pause. Tracy, do you have any specific questions? That would be my thing. Because if you do, I can address it now. And if not, or if they're more in depth, I can do another complete session on that at a different time. So anyway, if you have questions, drop them in the comments. I would love to answer them for you. I would love to make things seem a little bit simpler, a little less scary, untangle the mess just a little bit. So that's all I've got. I'm going to hang out for just a couple seconds and see if I can. I'm getting. Yeah. So the thing with if you're done listening, you can obviously just say bye. But for CRMs, so the thing with CRMs is that I kind of started with one just simply because I knew I needed something to help me keep track. And my recommendations, Tracy, were HoneyBook and Dubsado. So Dubsado is DUBSADO. I started with HoneyBook, so it is definitely the CRM that I am more familiar with. I am in the process of probably migrating to Dubsado. But honestly, a lot of that is because that's what my VA, my virtual assistant, is most comfortable in. And since she's going to be working in my CRM a lot more than I am right now, it made sense to me just to make it easier for her. And I'd heard really good things about Dubsado as well. So basically what they do is, and again, I'm speaking to HoneyBook on this one because it's what I signed on with. And it's what I started with, so I could speak a little bit more intelligently about it. My VA migrated all my stuff into Dubsado for me. But when you sign up for HoneyBook, they actually set everything up for you in the beginning. And what it allows you to do is, let's see, I am going to share this screen with you guys. Let's see. Okay, so you get to see me on here too, but all right, so this is what my dashboard looks like in HoneyBook, and super clean, super easy, and these are all of my projects. And so what it will do for you is when you go into your tools, okay, these are all the templates that's what you're going to use most frequently. And then there's bookkeeping. There's a ton of actually, you can actually batch emails. So you can use HoneyBook or I believe Dubsado as well as your email service. I don't know a ton about that because I'm still working on getting my email list up and running. So I cannot answer a ton of questions about that. And you can also do workflows. So what those do for you is it's all about automation. And it's all about if you know that after you have a sales call, you send a follow-up email, and then in so many days you send a proposal, et cetera, you can actually set all that up for you. And it can either do it perfectly automatically or it can ask for your approval. And that's me because I'm a little bit of a control freak. And so it freaks me out to send something without having my eyes on it. So I'll just show you really quickly because I don't want to go into an actual project. So when you create a project, let's see, I'm going to actually put myself in here. So this is what it'll look like. You'll enter your client's information, all that good stuff, and you'll add I added myself as a participant. And then what happens is this is where you can send emails. The cool part about this is even though it's sending from HoneyBook, it actually sends from your email. So they don't get an email from HoneyBook. And if you reply in your email, it's still going to show up in your messages that are right here. And then any files that you guys have exchanged back and forth are going to be here. Any payments, whenever you do a new file, this is where you can do a new proposal, an invoice, all that good stuff. So if I were going to create an invoice, see, it's already branded for me because I've gone in and I've saved my profile, all of that stuff. So all I have to do is then go in and actually add the information. And it's the same thing if I want to send an email. I have a ton of templates that I can choose from, and they're already done. So I can actually go in and personalize it. And then my signature is always at the bottom. So they just really work really great, not just for automation, but just keeping track of everybody. Because again, you know what all your active clients are. You can figure out what stage it's in. So I love them. I think they work great. Yeah, Tracy. Check out HoneyBook and Dubsado. Just kind of, I know Dubsado, I think both of them for sure, but you can do a free trial. And the only reason I'm saying check out both of them is because you may find that one is a little more user-friendly or just makes more sense for you and how your brain works. But those are the two main ones that you can sign up for that I am familiar with and I can speak to. So hopefully that answers other people's questions that may have had them. And that leads me to one last thing, you guys. Anything you want to learn about, anything that you think I can help you or you think someone else in the group can help you, because I am certainly not the only person that's got information to share. We have a lot of veterans that are in this group, and so we have that knowledge to pull from. But if you have questions, please post them in the group, send me a message, whatever it is, so that I can cover the stuff that's going to help you guys and that you actually want to hear about. So I hope you guys have a fabulous rest of your day. If it is cold and wet and rainy, I have a dog named Rhett, so that's what I'm going to blame that on. Where you are, try to stay warm, try to stay dry, and we will chat soon. Later, friends.